on. Okay, we should be recording now. For those of you wondering why I'm uncertain to a slight extent, it is because I just got updated Procaster. Actually, only go and turn on the volume a teeny little bitskis. God, there are so many things running all at the same time there. Okay, like turn you down to 8. That'll do. So I just got new Procaster, new recording / broadcasting software, and it makes it a little bit, leaves me into a position of being a little uncertain about how well everything's working, but it should be working. So, Morath.
Yes.
My dear friend and compatriot.
Yes.
How are you doing? As this is technically kind of your show.
I'm doing alright. So, as you just said, you just got Xmas, so we've been setting that up, and this is kind of a test run of the recording quality and whatnot.
As well as being the latest episode of our ongoing series.
Our ongoing series, which was delayed by Black Friday.
Fuck you, Black Friday! But we're driving across Europe, making deliveries, living a trucker lifestyle. And part of that's also going to be talking about recent events and all that bullshit that we were talking about. So let me grab us a course. I've actually been playing this game a fair bit in the interim since when we last were together. I quite enjoy Euro Truck Simulator. Still not great at the game, but I enjoy it. I probably
if you were
enjoy the
great
game.
at the game, that would make these recordings less successful.
Yes, by whatever measure we consider success, which obviously is pretty fucking different than what most people probably consider success. Speaking of which, we have just started, and I already am not entirely sure how to get out of this area. Oh yeah, I also showed the video to someone, like, to a European, and their first reaction to it was like, do you have any idea how many rules of the road you broke? Like, all of them? All of them. Alright.
Yeah, pretty much.
Can't argue with that, I kind of suspected. Oh, check this out. One thing I found out about? Turn signals. Also, also lights and stuff. Like, if you're driving at night, you have to turn your lights on or else you can get fined.
Oh.
Also, those rest stops, there is an energy gauge. If you are out on the road driving around for too long and you don't rest, you start getting sleepy, and it leads to you making mistakes and, you know, getting fined and stuff. So you need to use the rest stops to sleep if you're getting too tired. There's little details in this game. I like it. But anyway, this game is this LP series is half LP and 2/3 podcast. I'll let you work out the math on that one.
Yeah, I was just trying to do that. But
yeah, Black Friday just happened, and you worked in retail. Like, technically, your job isn't retail, but you were pulled in to help with the retail people because it was fucking Black Friday, son.
Yeah. Okay. During Black Friday, the Geek Squad actually closes, and we stick to new PC setups and working the sales floor.
As you do.
Yes. Actually, this Black Friday, like Thursday, I wasn't there for, thank God, but they were open. That day was hectic, but Black Friday, because all of our hot ticket items were usually get like they give you tickets for them on Thursday.
Right.
We had 8 people outside the door on Black Friday.
Oh,
PetSmart had a bigger line than we did.
Oh jeez.
But by the time I left work, that parking lot was full, and I was lucky I didn't park there, because otherwise I would have never gotten out.
Wow. Yeah, no, apparently, this is like the cutest thing in the universe. Apparently, there's a local pet store in my area. I didn't find out about this until too late, but apparently, they had for Black Friday free black kittens.
Oh my God!
You could adopt a Black Friday black kitten. And it's like, what? It might have been like an adoption center actually instead of a pet store. That actually might have been the case. But point is, apparently my mother decided that she wanted to get another dog for our old dog died, and the slightly younger dog has not been really like miserable or anything, but like she really likes playing with other dogs. So my mother decided, hey, I should get her a playmate, and so she went to go, like window searching for dogs, and she ended up telling me when she got, later on she ended up texting me and just saying like, by the way, I was out looking for a companion for the puppy, and there were Black Friday kittens. I know that you want to get a cat, like when when you move out, like you're gonna move out and you're gonna, get a cat. You could have picked up a kitten. I'm like, yeah, I could have. Thanks for mentioning it like 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
I would have loved a cat. I love cats. They're the best. But yeah. But yeah, kittens. I love kittens.
Speaking of which, I woke up at my girlfriend's place this morning. Because I went to work today.
As we do.
Yes, which was actually harder for me than Black Friday because all of this stuff, because I do primarily shipping.
Right.
And everybody that bought their shit on Black Friday is like, okay, now we need this done and taken care of and sent off for service or whatever.
Right.
Because they bought because they buy like, oh, this is a really good deal, but it's a really good deal on a decent computer. But then they find something that's like our little cheapos that technically cost less, but there's a reason. Right?
Right.
So a lot of people buy those, and now we're getting all of the lemons and stuff that end up happening when you sell that many pieces of equipment coming back and getting sent off for service.
Like, hey, this crappy secondhand PC, like laptop I bought, is not functioning perfectly. Yeah.
This Windows Vista era open box laptop I bought. Like.
Right. It's like, yeah, so those things didn't work exactly as you would have hoped? No shit. Well, okay, we'll go and send those off then. I fucking forgot about Vista. Like, literally, recently, I was thinking about, like, the various, like, editions of Windows. Because of, Windows 8. Windows 8 obviously sucks, and apparently, like, they're releasing, like, Windows 10. They're skipping 9. But they're releasing the new Windows, and everyone's like, yeah, okay, this one's looking a lot better. Because, like, even the people working at Microsoft weren't using Windows 8, because it was just that bad.
Yes.
But anyway, the point is, I was thinking about it, because it's like, there's this old saying in, in, like, the PC realm about how Microsoft always releases, in cycles. They'll release a good OS, and then they'll release a shitty OS, and a good OS, and then a shitty OS. And I was thinking, like, okay, so it was, like, 10 is coming out, and that should hopefully be a good one. And before that, we had Windows 8, which was obviously shit. And before that, we had Windows 7, which was really good. And before that, we had Windows 95?
You forgot XP, too, huh?
Sorry, no, XP. XP is, I was like, XP? Like, there's XP. I liked XP. I liked XP a lot. What the hell was it? There's Windows XP, Windows 7. Something doesn't feel right here.
Yeah. No, we actually still get Windows Vista computers in the store, like, for service and stuff.
Oh, man. God damn it. Like, I remember Vista being, like, the biggest piece of shit, but now I'm just thinking, like, man, it couldn't have been that bad. Like, there's no way. It was not Windows 8 bad.
Well, actually, for high-end PC users, it wasn't bad at all. It kept a lot of things. Windows 7 was essentially the enhanced version of what Vista was trying to prove as a concept. And actually, as somebody who works on Windows 8, 8.1 is not that bad.
I've only really dealt with Windows 8 standard.
Well, yeah, the Service Pack came out, and it's actually a big improvement. and it's really, really insanely good for tablets. Like I was selling a tablet today.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's an OS for tablets. Like that was the problem.
Yeah.
It was a perfectly serviceable OS for tablets that was being hoisted on PCs as part of some bizarre idea that like everything had to like sync up.
Well, it did make it, like, they do have unparalleled connectivity with their mobile devices.
Well, no shit, because they put the fucking mobile OS on the goddamn PC.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating the way that they achieved that, but I will say that,
it worked, yeah. It was like the shittiest possible way of accomplishing it, but congratulations, you did accomplish it.
Yeah. Also, it, like, as somebody who like sells these things on a regular basis, a lot of people like the PCs that you can disconnect the screen for and use as a tablet. Like I've seen a lot of those sell.
I can see those being popular.
Yeah.
You gotta forgive me a little bit. I am incredibly bitter at Windows 8 because of the fact that I have a laptop that runs Windows 8 and it is like the biggest sack of shit. Like,
oh, does it have a touch screen?
No, it doesn't. It's like
Yeah.
an original like laptop that came around the time Windows 8 came out, and I didn't intend for that to be the case. I my old laptop died right around the time it stopped being possible to buy computers with Windows 7 on them.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting Windows 7, but like by the time I did, it was sort of like I had too much stuff that I didn't really like. I don't use my laptop enough to justify, like renting out enough storage space to transfer everything that was on my laptop. And so it was just like it was easier to keep Windows 8, but like it's just every time I go on my laptop, it's like, oh, this is why I hate Windows 8.
Because the touchscreen capabilities that have come out, and that's actually one of the big things that Windows 8 did accomplish that I am happy about. It made it so that manufacturers are now having to build reliable and cheaper touchscreens. Because when Windows 7 came out, they were hugely expensive and hugely unreliable at the same time. Because they had Windows 7 touchscreens. My mother has one downstairs, and it's entirely awful. She never uses it. But with Windows 8 coming out, and when all else fails, use it like a tablet mentality that is kind of spawned, now, like, at least half of the laptops that exist have touchscreens. Now, like we have Lenovo's that are like 4 gigs of RAM and like 500 gigabytes of storage and an A8 processor.
And it's a touchscreen?
In a touchscreen for like $500.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's nuts. I actually need to replace my laptop. I just got done talking about how much it is a piece of shit, and I should also mention it also just broke. Like it's like still functional, but like the mouse, like the mouse keys, like one of the left one fell off.
Oh.
And like I'm gonna have to go and replace this. This is gonna be expensive. Boo. Oh, I'm turning on my headlights. It's starting to get dark.
Well, remember, if you go...
Windows. Window wipers. Swish.
Nice.
It does rain.
If you do buy it at Best Buy, when you buy it, you can get $100 off your Geek Squad tech support.
Really?
Yeah, which covers up to 3 computers.
Huh.
This is not just a sales thing, but...
So if I return my old computer, I can get off of the next computer I buy?
Sometimes, depending on what shape it's in.
Well, I mean, apart from the whole mouse falling off thing, it's in pretty reasonable shape.
Yeah, they might be able to send it off to service and then open box it.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, like, the thing is, I don't think it's actually in so bad of a condition that, like, it's unrepairable. Like, the mouse cover fell off, but as long as I, like, leave it on top of the button, it still functions as a mouse.
Yeah.
So it's like nothing in the hardware is broken. It's just that it's like the case is starting to get worn down, and it's probably like virus infested or something. But I mean, they wiped the whole thing anyway, so that's not exactly an issue.
Yeah. I'll go over that when I'm not,
We'll figure that one out when
podcast.
it's actually like a thing. This is just like this is also, I'm only bringing it up now because it's the kind of thing where it's like, hey, could our friends and viewers at home listening to this right now benefit from, turning in their old laptops? Like, at what point does the damage condition of your shitty computer make it too shitty for even Geek Squad to take it in? Sorry, you're breaking up a bit there, Morath. Yeah, you are. Alright, you're actually not going to smash into me. I'm appreciative of that.
Okay, it's a little bit weak on my end.
Yeah, it appears to be a little bit weird on your end. I'll fill the dead air until you can manage to get that fixed up. Anyway, as you can see as we drive along this lovely country road, that we're out in the great farmlands of... Where the hell are we?
Chechnya. No, not in Chechnya.
I think we're in Germany. We're still in Germany. I think we're just driving around Germany.
Yeah.
I've been noticing that, like, I in my own personal, like, off-time save, I've been exploring quite a bit of Europe, and, it is distinctly different looking. They do a good job of making the countryside not just uniform. Like, it is significantly more varied than fucking Cyrodiil.
Yeah. Just so you're aware, the stream died. Yes, so once you're done with this, we'll take a break from the recording.
Well, it says the recording is still going on.
Yeah, the recording will continue. It seems like the stream itself, like, just...
Oops.
There was a connectivity issue. Don't worry about it.
Well, fair enough. The people at home will not notice that, luckily.
Yes. I have... Oh, what? But you just got Pokemon.
I did just get the Pokemons.
Yes.
I love Pokemon. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this way more once we actually start the stream again. I don't want to get too deep into it when there's going to be a short break off camera. But I will say, just to start us off, that I recently picked up Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, which is the latest Pokemon game, and this will also be the first Pokemon game. The only Pokemon game I've ever finished all the way through is Red version. I've done a couple of playthroughs on Blue and Red version on emulators, and the last Pokemon game I played was Heart Gold. And the last Pokemon game I played before Heart Gold was Pokemon Silver when it had just come out. So, this is a very, very new experience for me. Like, I am the most old-manish old man of Pokemon. I literally for years refused to touch the other Pokemon because I was like, it's not Red it's new Pokemon. I remember in my day when it was 150 Pokemon. Look at these Pokemons. They're not. What do they even look like? Was it Ho-Oh, Lugia? Back in my day, I remember when we had Articuno and Zapdos and Mewtwo, and we were happy. God damn it! Okay, there we go. We seem to have ended that contract with an excellent and leveled up as well. Oh yeah, baby! So let me go and quickly. Well, we'll do the upgrades in a second when we have this stream working again. So let us really quickly. We'll be back in just a moment, people. Go. Hey everybody, and we're back. Sorry about that. So yeah, we'll get back to the Pokemon conversation in just a second. But first, we have our first level up on this account. So what are we going to buy our level up in? In this game, you can level up a number of things. I'll explain them real quick. From top to bottom, you can get ADR, There's ADR training. It allows you to become certified to carry dangerous materials like explosives, gases, flammable liquids, flammable solids, toxics and infectious substances, and corrosive substances. They are dangerous, and you really don't want to crash your car while you have them on board, but they give you an experience and monetary boost for doing jobs that involve carrying them. Long distance is we get jobs that require us to drive longer distances. We get extra money and experience from taking longer jobs. High value cargo is we pick up cargo that is worth a lot more. Again, big penalty for getting it damaged, but big benefit if we can get it all the way to where it needs to go safely. Fragile cargo, again, experience and monetary bonus, but like damaging it is much easier. These are options that come up with certain jobs as opposed to being like all your jobs are just like this now. Just-in-time delivery, which allows you to take on jobs that have a rush, so you need to complete them in X amount of time. But again, bonuses. And finally, eco-driving, which just saves you fuel, which less useful initially, but super useful once you're driving your own truck and paying for your own gas, and you have long-distance driver up a lot, and you are stopping for gas relatively recently. It's super useful once you're really driving long distance.
Yes.
So,
okay.
What do you prefer?
Well, honestly, like if we're going for hilarity, explosive cargo.
Okay. Well, I think we need fragile first, just because I'm fairly certain that all ADR things are also fragile for obvious reasons.
I'd go with high value.
Oh, high value.
Just for the start. Just because this, the high value is just, it's flat and more expensive. Therefore, it costs more to ship.
Fair enough. Well, fragile is actually more valuable. Fragile is like
yes, but it's also easier to crash. Like if you,
all right,
like
we'll
it
go
has the
high
same
value.
resilience.
Yeah, we'll go high value. We'll start taking high value jobs.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can also take out a loan from the bank and buy our own truck and start our own delivery company. But we're not going to do that right now because that would be incredibly stupid with how little money we have and the fact that we're only like level 1.
Yes.
So unfortunately, we don't have any jobs available right now that are high value. The more cities you visit, you can take jobs from any city you visited. So the more cities you go to, the more opportunities that present themselves, which is another reason why I like to take long distance relatively early, because that allows you to kind of cross a bit more of Europe, get to and hit up a few more cities. But we can, we're still early enough on that we're like there's cities every which way, so we're just gonna take one that's relatively short.
Have you gone over? Have you gone over the country lines yet?
I have. Usually there's a toll booth. You have to go through tolls.
Oh, okay.
Which is not too bad. It's not too bad. It's a it's a little tricky, but it's not too bad. I'll just take this job right here, and we'll get back to the Pokemon conversation.
All right.
So, Pokemons. It's you and me, and it's together. It's our destiny. Oh, I love this. I love DAF trucks I've discovered. They are so pretty. Like wood panel and they're just gorgeous trucks. Anyway, so yeah, Pokemon.
Yes.
As I said, I really have not played any Pokemon game for an unbelievable amount of time. And the last time I played them was back with the remake of actually no, I was wrong. The game I played before Heart Gold was Fire Red. But yeah, no, it's if it isn't gold, if it isn't gold, silver, red, or blue, or yellow, I have, or some variation of said games, I basically have not played them. So jumping all the way into Alpha Sapphire, which admittedly is a remake of another not as brand new game, but one that has all of these new features and Pokemon from later generations and online connectivity and like wonder trading and all this stuff. It's like what is with I can get the thing and some of these Pokemon are shiny. Oop, well, I gotta turn on my lights. It's like some of the Pokemon are shiny and like the I can sneak and I can run and there's 3D and the Pokemon are like they're not 2D. It's like what?
Yeah. Oh, so what do you think of the 3D sprites?
I think that they're adorable. Did you know that there's a feature in it where you can play with your Pokemon? Like you can take out the stylus and you can you can scratch their heads and feed them Pokemon treats.
Yeah.
And like then they have little hearts appear over their heads and they like you better, and then they're better in battle.
Yeah, and you can also get rid of poison that way.
Really?
Yeah. Outside of battle, you can cure them of poison when you're outside of battle.
Oh,
through Pokemon and Me. I'm not sure how to do it because I never really fucked with it. But it was Kalos, the region that came out in X and Y, is based on France.
Oh, nice.
And they came out with that, and also you can EV train your Pokemon without having them battle.
Huh. Yes, I did see that. I did see that.
Yeah, super training. I did it for a couple of them. The problem is that they've made EV training super easy. With the addition of horde battles, I don't know if you've run across them yet.
I haven't. What are horde battles?
You face like 5 Pokemon at once, but they're lower level than you typically find in that area, and they're usually the same one.
I see.
So what you do is you go to an area where it has a horde battle of the Pokemon that you need to
EV train.
get the EVs that you need, because each kind of Pokemon gives you a specific EV.
Why don't you explain EVs to the folks at home? Because I'm sure that I'm not the only one who the first time they heard about EVs was thinking about like, man, I know there's a lot of EV evolutions, but like, Jesus Christ, do you seriously make a team of nothing but EVs?
Yeah, it's entirely possible. They have one of almost every type.
They do.
But no, the EVs are effort values, and you get them from battling, and each Pokemon that you have gives out a certain number of any given stat. And they can go in any of the stats, and every 4 effort values is equal to 1 point in stats when you reach level 100. So 252, give me a moment, is like an extra like 60 in stats in a given stat.
And
this is
and then different Pokemon, like the basically what like the important key point is like different types of Pokemon give different types of bonuses. So like some give you more defense when you level up, some give you more special attack, some give you more regular attack, some give you more speed, etc. So there's a whole crazy meta game around min-maxing your not only like your Pokemon's level, but also how they level, like what type of bonuses they end up having by the end game.
Yes. You have a maximum of 500 effort values, which the typical spread is 252 in 2 different stats, and then the rest of them in 1 other stat.
Yeah.
Which, like, a lot of people, they're, super high-end people do it differently, but that's a good starting point to get it.
Right.
That's what I started doing when I started competitively battling. which you've heard a little bit about that, but
I have. I've heard quite a bit about that actually, but again, why don't we've had the tech talk section of our podcast / Let's Play. So why don't you regale us with tales about the like high level Pokemon battling? Because we're now night driving, and I think that's a great time to get into something, really weird that that a lot of people are going to be like, what about? And other people are going to be like, oh man, that's so cool. We should go and poke a battle right fucking now.
yeah. I actually, as far as high level, I'm not sure about that, but the high metagame is something that I do.
Yeah, so explain about the metagame of Pokemon, because, like, seriously, folks at home, this is, like, a thing. Like, I didn't know this was a thing until college, at which point I was talking with someone who was, like, playing with the new Pokemon, like, around the time Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, which is why I got Heart Gold, because I was talking with a very good friend of ours, who's, like, fucking math genius. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I like Pokemon." I'm like, "Oh man, yeah, Pokemon's great. I love Pokemon. It's classic old gaming." He's like, "Yeah. No, I really like the EV, thing. Like they're getting the correct spread on stats and stuff." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yes.
So yeah, why don't you explain about this? Because I know a bit about it, but I don't know nearly as much as you do.
Yeah. Each Pokemon is supposed to fulfill a specific role. They're built like when their stats at level 100 will reflect this. For instance, let's take people who buy Pokemon before like the end of January can get a shiny Beldum, which will eventually evolve into a Metagross. So I'm going to take Metagross real quick and explain how that works. Metagross is what we call a bulky physical sweeper. He's got medium defense stats, a high HP stat, and a really, really insanely high attack stat. So you tend to give him physical moves, and like the one that we get has the set of the Iron
Headbutt. It's like Hold Back and Iron Defense.
Yes. Which Hold Back you will usually replace with something else.
Unless you are like me and you're the type of person who is slightly more interested in the whole gotta catch 'em all thing. Because what Hold Back does is it is literally the worst like competitive move, and at the same time the best catching move. Because what it does is it's an attack that will never knock out a Pokemon.
Yes, really bad to give to your Pokemon as its only physical attack, by the way. Yeah. Just so you're aware.
Yeah, like the whole point of it is you hit someone in such a way where you never have to worry about accidentally knocking the legendary you're trying to capture unconscious, so that you can always make sure you're going to capture it, as long as you have enough Pokeballs. But, of course, by the same token, it's completely impossible to win a battle with that move, because it is, by its nature, incapable of beating someone.
Yes. And so, usually, like, you'll use those three, Iron Defense, Zen Headbutt, and Iron Head. And a lot of people like to throw on Bullet Punch on top of that. Because Bullet Punch has priority.
Yeah, it automatically hits first.
Yes, unless they're also using a priority move and they're faster than you.
Right.
And the entire, like, some people will also, like, take out Iron Head to replace it with that. And then instead give it a different move. Like, I personally use Magnet Rise, which makes him immune to ground attacks for 5 turns.
Cool.
And also, I used to run a weakness policy Metagross, and a weakness policy increased your attack's stats and your speed by 2 stages.
Balls. Well,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Normally I would have been given a ticket for that, but apparently the light must have turned green like as I was running the red.
Yeah.
I am super fucking lucky there.
Yeah.
Go on,
So,
go on.
Yeah. The weakness policy is something that increases your 2 attack stats and your speed stat by 2 stages when you get hit by a move that you're weak to.
2
And
stages.
Metagross can yeah. As in other words, it'll double the attack. Double the amount of attack, and the amount of special attack, and the amount of speed that you have.
Mm.
It's really good for bulky sweepers, because it's essentially allowing you to get a stat boost off of taking a hit. So what I usually do is I will give my Metagross a weakness policy, throw him out against an Earthquake user, use Magnet Rise that same turn, but he'll usually go last the first turn because he's actually kind of slow. So he'll take the Earthquake and then he'll use it'll eliminate like half of his HP or whatever, and then he'll use Magnet Rise, which will make him immune to ground attacks for the next 5 turns, and he'll have double his speed, so usually will be faster than the opponent.
Huh.
This turns him into an evil sweeper if you can get rid of the fire types on the opponent's team.
Sweeper in this case refers to someone who sweeps the entire enemy team, like,
Yes.
Nice.
Hits hard, knocks things out.
Just
That's
knocks them out
essentially
before
their
they have a
job.
chance to hit you back.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So
Yes.
how would you deal with someone's Metagross if they pulled one out against you?
Okay, so on my personal team, I'd be evil, and Metagross is also good because he's immune to poison attacks. So the typical way of dealing with bulky sweepers is to poison them. These speedy sweepers is to get something that can take the hits dealt out from them and then hit them back harder.
Makes sense.
The one that's really good for that is Slowbro. Is amazing for that.
Really?
Yes. For Metagross, though, that's actually a tricky one. He is. There is like something that you can do with one of my favorite Mega Evolutions is the Charizard Mega Evolution, because when you use it, he gets Drought as an ability.
Oh
I forget which one this was. And when he gets Drought, Drought makes it sunny outside, which makes it so that Solar Beam doesn't need a turn to charge.
Oh my, that's a thing?
Yes. So essentially what you're doing is you are making a Pokemon so that he can fire off Solar Beams every round.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That's kind of horrible. That's kind of evil.
Yes. Although, and then you also give him another, like, Overheat, which is a really, really powerful fire move, and it'll wipe out Metagross right there and then.
Because Metagross is a Steel type, which I recently found out Steel is weak against fire, which I thought was kind of clever.
Yes. The Steel types are weak against fire and ground.
Dusseldorf.
Yeah. But they're strong against fairy types.
I see.
Which actually makes Klefki really, really useful, because the two main weaknesses that you have to fairy are poison and steel.
We made it back to base safe and sound with a bit of XP and a bit of money. Unfortunately, not enough to get another level up, but this next job, no matter what we take, unless we completely fuck it up, is almost
entirely
certain,
possible.
yeah, is going to get stuff. Also, a whole bunch of high value cargo jobs just opened up for us.
Oh, nice.
So we're in the money. Hello, my honey. Two taking us directly into the Czech Republic. So, you know what? Let's leave Germany. We'll do one more drive.
Awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, you use the fairer Pokemon, gets beaten by the metal Pokemon, who's beaten by the fire Pokemon.
Yeah. The team composition, like one of the things that makes Pokemon interesting is a lot of times you'll have Pokemon that have weaknesses to certain types, but they can learn moves that the Pokemon are weak to. For instance, a psychic Pokemon, a physical psychic Pokemon like Mewtwo, for example, can learn Power-Up Punch, which is strong versus dark types, which are Psychic's main weakness.
Versus what types?
Dark types.
Dark types. Okay. So Dark is really good against Psychic, like it's like the biggest hard counter, but they're weak against Physical. And you can sometimes get guys like Mewtwo to be like, oh, hi, by the way, I'm super weak against you, but you know what I can do? Punch you in the nose.
Yeah. Mega Mewtwo X, I believe.
Mega Mewtwo X.
Yeah,
that is...
he had 2 Mega Evolutions.
Okay, so he Mega Evolves, and then he Mega Evolves again.
Well, no, it's all dependent on which Mega Stone he's holding.
Okay.
That were version of specific last round. So I have X, which Mega Mewtwo X has the highest physical attack in the game.
Oh my god, really?
Yes. You can give him Power-Up Punch, which is a fighting move that when you use it, it raises your attack 1 stage.
Oh man.
So, literally, you can be punching things in the face, and then, like, next turn, you'll be punching them in the face harder.
Wow.
And he also becomes fighting type. Psychic fighting is his typing.
The Mega Mewtwo X?
Yes.
So
The Mega Mewtwo Y.
Yeah.
The Mega Mewtwo Y, he's amazing at... He's specially good. Like, he is good with special attack.
Okay, so he basically becomes like a super psychic?
Yes. And he retains his standard psychic typing. I think he also becomes really, really fast too, but I'm not sure.
Makes sense. But yeah, he basically, like, he doesn't get that Mega Mewtwo X's ability to essentially have the perfect workaround for his one major weakness, but he makes up for that by essentially being like, okay, I'm going to make up for my weakness by making it that I am still completely weak to that weakness, but literally everything else will die.
Yeah. Well, there are also special fighting type moves that he can use. One of them being Aura Blast. I don't know if he can use it, but that's like that's the one that Lucario uses.
Oh yeah, is it like
Lucario,
like, you know, newer generation Mewtwo in style?
Well, he's fighting Steel type.
Huh.
Which makes him ×4 weak to fighting, because Steel is also weak to fighting.
Oh man.
So he's really good. He gets a Mega Evolution that's in high tier competitive play.
Are any the starters considered high tier on like the meta Pokemon dogfighting arenas?
Actually, most of them no. There are a few exceptions, but no.
Which exceptions?
Greninja is currently overused.
Wait, Greninja's a starter?
Yes. He's a fully evolved starter.
Is that from X and Y, or?
Yes.
Ah.
Greninja's highly used.
It's starting to rain.
Yeah. There are some other ones that are just the level below him. I believe Oh, Blaziken is OU. Or is Uber's, actually.
OU?
OU is overused.
Ah.
They have overused, underused, rarely used, never used are the tiers for Smogon. There's also the Uber tier, which is, this thing is too powerful to be an OU.
Okay, so like we've like kind of like unofficially removed it.
Yeah, well, there are Uber battles. A lot of the legendaries are there. It'd be surprising how many legendaries aren't there, actually. But
really,
a lot of them have like just bad typing and stuff like that, or there are Pokemon that do their jobs better.
Right. So it's like not that they're bad Pokemon. It's just that they are for the meta either just completely replaceable with things that do what they do better, or are for the meta just super weak to common tactics.
Yes. The other problem is that as strong as legendary Pokemon are stat-wise, they typically have atrocious move pools. So you don't get as much type coverage.
Okay, so yeah, they tend to be like super focused on their one particular type, and therefore you don't get the useful thing of like, this is a Pokemon that has a fighting move, a steel move, a fire move, and a water move.
Right. Greninja actually has an ability called Protean, which changes his type to the move type that he's using.
Oh, man.
So he always gets the same type attack bonus, which increases the power by 50%.
Oh, man.
Which makes him insanely good.
Alright, yeah. Dude. Alright, so yeah, he's obviously the water type, right?
Right. Well, he's the water dark is his typing.
But he's the water starter, I should say.
Yes.
Alright, so it appears that, like, in the meta, having at least two types is, very beneficial.
A lot of times, the problem with dual typing is a lot of times that will create what a ×4 weakness, a double weakness. Like,
so
if
having like a fire grass, like a fire. I'm trying to think of like, I don't know the types well enough to go like, oh yeah, this and this. I guess grass, ice would be like double weak against fire. If that's even if there's a Pokemon that's like that.
Yeah, there is. It's called Abomasnow, and he is fantastic, and I love him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has a Mega Evolution, and he was the Mega I was using for a long time.
Nice.
When he's not fighting against fire types, he's insanely good.
Nice.
The other one that's the big one is the water starter from the generation that you and I are playing.
Oh.
Is Marshtomp, or he starts out as Mudkip.
Yeah,
which
Mudkip.
we've all heard of Mudkip.
Yeah.
He evolves into Marshtomp as his latest one, which is a water ground type.
Oh, that definitely sounds like it would be something that ends up being it could be really good.
Well, yes, it makes him immune to electric attacks because ground is immune to electric.
Oh.
But it makes him double weak to grass.
Okay, so his weakness is like he's super fucking grass weak, but
yeah,
like
so as long as you're not fighting him against somebody with a grass type move, he's awesome and bulky and brilliant.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, what about the other two starters? Are they just not like anywhere near his tier, or is like one of them good and the other one's meh, or is like they're both okay? Or, like what is the
Torchic? Yeah, Torchic stole the limelight because he's in Ubers.
Oh, really?
He's banned Ubers is what they call it. And the reason for that is he gets the type firefighting. He was the first Pokemon to get that. it was a bad trend that Pokemon had for a while for the fire starters to end up being firefighting.
Fire and fighting, not like they're firemen.
Yeah. That would be a little odd considering their original typing.
Right, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. But Blaziken was the first, and he always outshone them because he was insanely fast and had insane attack. And his hidden ability, which was a mechanic that came out in Gen 5, they gave him speed boost, which at the end of every turn, he
got faster.
He raises his speed by 1 stage.
Oh man.
So.
And what about the grass type?
Grass type, Trico. He was OU for a really long time because he's really diversified. He's actually the fastest of the 3 starters. But fire was a big thing in the metagame in Gen 5.
So basically he ended up getting kind of screwed over by the fact that the metagame was based around a weakness.
Yes. Well, my personal reason for why it was so fire heavy is they had like he was used a long time because water was a really well used type for walls. Still is. Like the bulky, like get in your way and won't let you leave.
Stop a sweep type Pokemon.
Yes. Those were always water types because they just are usually
very difficult to take down.
Very defensive, have very few weaknesses, that sort of thing.
Right.
Which
I can see why a water ground type would be a fantastic use for that. Something that has almost no natural weaknesses.
So that is why Marshtomp was good. But I can't remember, is it Sceptile? Sceptile was used because he was one of these hard-hitting grass-type Pokemon. He just wrecked things.
You could bring him out as a ganker to just take down your opponent's wall.
Yes.
And he'd just do it immediately.
Pretty much. So, he was used a lot then. And then fire types, because one of the event Pokemon that came out in Gen 5 was Victini.
Which is a fire type?
Fire and psychic type.
Oh man.
Really unique combination. Had some of the hardest hitting moves in the game. Like one of them that the only other person that can learn it is Rayquaza. Like, you'll see him at the end of this game.
Oh, so he's like a super legendary.
He's the balancing force between Groudon and Kyogre.
Oh man.
Which are the 2 legendaries for Red and
I call them Red Godzilla and Giant Whale.
Yeah, Red Godzilla and Giant Whale.
But yeah, this guy basically came into the meta, was like, "Yo, what's up, guys? I'm bringing fire back." And
yeah, essentially.
And then poor grass type was like, "Oh, shit."
Yeah. Pretty much. But he'll be back. All 3 of them will Blaziken's still Ubers. They'll all probably be OU again because of their Mega Evolutions.
Because they now have Mega Evolutions.
Yes. Which Mega Evolutions raise the Pokemon's base stats by 100.
Oh my.
And usually change their ability and their appearance.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures of Mega Evolutions. I've never actually had a chance to play with them. I found 2 Mega Evolution Stones so far. One for Pokemon that, like, when I looked on the map, was like, yep, it's like at the Elite Four area. Like, it's super late game. And one that like that was like a story progression item, like that one I had to get. And then I also found a secret one, which is for a Pokemon that is not even in my goddamn version. Like it's in the
Which one is it?
It's for like a Pokemon that's in Ruby, Omega Ruby. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's like there's only like 5 Pokemon that are actually like version specific, 2 of whom are legendaries. But like I somehow managed to find like the Mega Evolution Stone in a secret area for the one that I don't for like one of the for one of the ones that is version specific.
Yeah. These are the things, by the way, that Pokemon throws in there to be like, you should trade with your friends. You should trade with your friends.
And to be fair, they do now have the option to trade with people online and do like a whole Wonder Trade thing. So it's less of an irritation than it was back in the day, where it's like, oh well, I guess I gotta go and find my game cable, my link cable.
Yeah. I had to go and find my link cable. Then I got to find a friend that didn't buy. Well, okay, I bought blue version.
Yeah, but like the other version from the one that I bought, and I need to make sure that they are the right place. And God forbid the Pokemon I need is a legendary, because then obviously we can't trade it because like there's only one.
Yeah.
It's like
my friend and I used to trade for Dex credit.
Yeah, I'm fine with doing that. Like I had 1 or 2 experiences with douchebags who tried to steal my Pokemon. Ended up having to use a Game Shark to recover a lost, I think it was like a Mew.
Oh man.
It was super shitty. But point is, I got the Mew. I eventually had to get the Mew back through a Game Shark, and but like I trust guys like you obviously to not screw me over one, especially since of the 2 of us, I'm the collector and you're the super battle nut. So there's less of a reason for you to take a non-meta, like to steal a non-meta useful Pokemon from me. So it's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I also okay, you're getting the only ones that you would get for the legendaries would be the that are version specific, are like either one of the Latis.
Yeah, it's
Latios
like,
or Latios.
Yeah, it's like a Lati, and then there's like obviously the super game defining legendary, the Kroga and the whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The Mantarok and the Churga. Little Eternal Darkness humor.
Yeah. I do have both games.
Turned red.
But
oh, okay, didn't get fun. Anyway, continue that. Oh, yeah. Morath here, nut job that he is. I'm like, hey, I just picked up Alpha Sapphire. Please tell me you have Omega Ruby. And he's like, oh, I have both.
Okay, so the story for that. So I went in. There was a Gengar event a while back where they gave you a shiny Gengar. And he had his Mega Evolution Stone.
Continue.
Since so I took it, and I got that event. And then when I went in, I pre-ordered Omega Ruby, right?
Right. What do you want our next upgrade to be? ADR certification, long distance, more high-value cargo, fragile cargo, just-in-time delivery, or eco-driving?
Let's do long distance.
All right. I love long distance. I really do.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll save game. And we'll keep going, because we're talking about Pokemon, and it's a fun conversation.
Yeah.
And if it goes a little long, then who gives a shit, If people find it interesting, they'll keep watching, and if they get bored of the Pokemon talk, turn it off. It's okay. We won't blame you.
Yeah. So then I go in, like, 2 weeks later, and I'm picking up the Diancie event, which is the other legendary that came out before Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Right.
And then I was
Poland.
Yeah, and the last time I had bought I bought the original Ruby and Sapphire. I had Ruby, which is initially why I picked up Omega Ruby, because I was like, I really liked that game, and I really liked using Groudon.
Fair enough.
Or Fire Godzilla. And so, of course, the second time, I'm like, you know what, last time I played a Ruby, I really, really want to see what Sapphire is like. I've heard there's some significant differences.
Yeah, like the rival team is actually different. Like the main antagonist changes significantly from version to version, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's the same basic, like, you know, plot, obviously, but, like, you know.
So of course, I then pre-order. Having forgot I've already pre-ordered a game, I pre-ordered Alpha Sapphire.
Oh my.
They didn't tell me that I had. So of course I go into GameStop on the day of the release, and I'm like, I'm here to pick up Pokemon. And they're like, oh, it was either that or Super Smash Brothers, because, you know, they came out on the same day. And all of a sudden they ring up the total, and it's like, that'll be $70, and I'm like, what the hell? And I look down, and I've ordered, and it's both games.
And you're like, well, you know what? Why not?
Well, he's like, oh, well, it's payday today, so, you know.
Don't blame you. Like, I've always wanted to do that, and that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. I also like the fact that it came out on payday.
That is pretty good. Oh my goodness. So, for those of you who have not played Ruby or Sapphire, or have not played Alpha Ruby and Omega Sapphire... No, wait. Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. A little screwed up there, but whatever. No one knows. Gods will not be watching. But yeah, like, why don't you explain some of the differences between the two games? I'll jump in with some of the story elements if need be, because I'm playing through the game right now and thoroughly enjoying Sapphire.
While he's driving. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, I'm literally, like, one hand is on the controls for the truck, the other hand is playing Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, I do that when I'm driving sometimes, too. And then when I hit a really sharp turn, I close my eyes. Because I'm scared.
Oh, God. Okay, but no.
Oh, wait, my girlfriend watches this. This is a bad idea.
Yeah, no, she's gonna be like, okay, well, Morath, why don't I never drive with you again?
You know that trip we were gonna take Friday? Yeah, we're not doing it.
Yeah. I love the fact that all these trucks' cabs are different. Oops.
Yeah.
I'm distracted by the cabs. Anyway, so so obviously in each version of Pokemon there are Pokemon that are different from one another in the versions. But Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, along with their original games, took that concept one step beyond with this one.
Yeah. Okay. So the two teams are Team Magma and Team
Aqua,
yeah. And one of them is trying to, like, it's actually interesting. I'm going to pull out this story element and correlation real quick. I would say, spoilers, but really, the games came out 10 years ago.
Also Pokemon, so you're not really playing it for the storyline.
Well, actually, this one's surprisingly interesting.
Oh.
So, if you ever, the Omega and Alpha, the obvious biblical correlation is I am the Alpha and Omega, that sort of thing. The two of them are based on, the two legendaries are based on the Behemoth and the Leviathan from the Bible. And one of them is trying to cleanse the earth with water, and the other one is trying to cleanse the earth with fire, which is also a biblical thing. If you go back to the story of Noah, which, interestingly enough, the time frame for Sapphire is the Alpha, which was in the beginning, which Noah was closer to the beginning. God says that he has purged the earth once with water, and the next time he does so, it will be with fire.
Oh, so Ruby's Omega. It's at the end.
Yes. So
That's clever. That's clever.
yes, it's quite interesting. I'm really wondering if they pull out more primals. I'm hoping they do.
Indeed. Okay, so these two teams, Magma and Aqua, obviously each one is trying to reawaken one of the two legendary Doomsday Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And so like yeah. So obviously Aqua's trying to bring about the water one, and Magma's trying to bring about the fire/ground one. I'm actually kind of curious about the motivations, because I do know, playing through Sapphire, that both teams have very distinctive styles of design. Oh, oops, I'm on the wrong lane. Team Magma has a they have very nice uniforms. They kind of have like turtlenecks. Their boss wears glasses and is relatively well spoken. He's kind of like a stuck-up jerk. Whereas Team Aqua is basically, they're pirate themed. They've got a bunch. They got like torn up clothing. They're led by this guy wearing like a shark tooth necklace and a giant beard, who's really boisterous and friendly, kind of like aggressively friendly, kind of like that sort of like jovial villain, where they're obviously kind of like antagonistic, but in that kind of way where it's like, ha ha, what a fantastic antagonist you've been, hero.
Yeah.
Like, I respect you enough to kick the shit out of you.
Yeah, it's actually interesting when you during the demo, the two of them are talking, and he's just like, "I'm gonna bear hug you so hard."
I love the boss of Team Aqua. Like, I'm super glad I picked up Sapphire, because, like, seriously, like, I love Team Aqua. They're just like the goofiest, most like wonderfully weird villains.
Mm.
But go on. So
yeah, in the originals, whenever you picked one, the opposite team would be your ally towards the end of the game.
yes, I have been noticing that. I'm getting to the point now where I'm started meeting up with Team Magma, and they're like, yeah, you're fucking around with Team Aqua. We respect that.
Yeah. And like this was also like one of the times that they like that where the Emerald version was actually very different from the previous two, because that was the first time that they were both the teams were antagonistic, and you brought down Rayquaza, who was the force of nature that caused them to split. But Emerald had some new features and fixed a lot of the problems with the features from Ruby and Sapphire. It was generally a good game.
Yeah, I've heard that both Aqua Sapphire, Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby both contain the stuff that was added in Emerald version.
Yes.
Like they're kind of the director's cut like versions of the game, which is nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But go on. So you know this better than I do. Keep going.
Yeah. So because you're a 10-year-old kid in the Pokemon universe, you are trying to stop them from making what they would consider a paradise. For each of the teams would consider a paradise.
Yeah.
Which would also cause problems.
Yeah, because I know like Team Aqua is like from the version I've been playing, has been kind of going on about the fact that like they want to expand the ocean so that water Pokemon will have more room to live in, breathe, like to live in, and they are not big fans of how much the oceans have been polluted, and so they want to expand the oceans to kind of like reverse the ecological damage humans have done to the sea.
Yes.
And I assume that Team Magma, wants to extend the land for basically the same reason.
It's similar, like essentially make a place where like, and I'm going back because I'm not as far as you in the game because I've been, working and stuff.
Yeah,
But
Oh, that made me sound lazy, why don't you?
well, no, recuperating from working as well.
I know, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but you've also, like, those games
This is
go
the first
quick,
Pokemon I've
and-
played in a very, very long time, so I've been devoting basically all of my free time to playing more Pokemon.
Yeah, which is what we're going to do after this. But, Team Magma is trying to essentially create a paradise where humans and Pokemon can live in harmony on the land, and also give people more land to grow shit and stuff.
Makes sense.
Uh,
I accidentally fucked up a little bit there. Oopsies. This is technically an illegal turn, but I'm gonna make it anyway. And of course
you're going down a one-way street.
I'm going down a one-way street, and there's already a car there. It's like, ignore me. What I'm doing totally isn't horribly illegal. Shut up.
Nor dangerous.
Hideously dangerous. Well, I knocked over the warning sign, therefore it's no longer dangerous.
And there's another one.
Okay, so maybe this plan wasn't perfect, but it's fine.
It looks like you got clipped there.
I did get kind of clipped, but so far this has actually been going better than it really should. No one ran into me and I'm back on the right street. I did it! Holy shit. That was the dumbest thing, but I did it. I technically didn't smash into anything, and I guess I wasn't in the wrong lane long enough for the game to register it as being, like, totally fucking illegal. Or at least no cops were around to point that out, so, whatever, we'll tell the boss that never happened, and hope no one called it in. Anyway, so continue. Okay, so Aqua tries to extend the ocean because they think that they want to create a paradise for Pokemon. They want to reverse the ecological damage to the water. Team Magma has kind of more of a utopian ideal of creating like a world where Pokemon and humans can live in harmony on this new supercontinent.
Yes.
So, yeah, they both have their plan.
Yeah, and there's gigantic flaws
In
both plans.
Yes.
Because, when a 10-year-old can stop your criminal organization, it's usually because there's some flaws in the whole thought process.
You didn't plan out everything 100% perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, any criminal organization that can be foiled by a 10-year-old, like, there's issues.
Ciordi, yeah. Giovanni.
To be fair, that was, like, Team Rocket was one of those that, yeah, every once in a while you had to deal with them, but
actually, to be fair, yeah, when you fought Giovanni, it wasn't to, like, foil his evil plans, it was just because he was a gym leader.
Yeah.
Like, he was a gym leader who happened to be the head of an evil organization, but when you actually did confront him, it was over getting that last badge.
Yeah. Like, you fight him once in the Silphco, I think.
Yeah.
But
something like that.
Like, you find him there, and he's like, "Oh, well, this will be much harder when you come to my gym."
Yeah. Like, once I've actually got my proper Pokemon team assembled, you're gonna be in trouble, kiddo.
Yeah.
But yeah. Actually,
also the. Oh, go ahead.
Go on.
Right. Also, the way they put, like, how they had the Pokemon up to level this level obey you and stuff like that.
Mm.
The way that they did the Giovanni, like, what his badge was so sinister. Like, all Pokemon obey you.
They recognize that you could deal with a son of a bitch like Giovanni. No one's gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
That's kind of wonderful. Like that is like the best thing.
Yeah. So I always found that interesting.
No, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Team Rocket was kind of like a every once in a while they were a nuisance and a side story. They weren't like the prime thing of the game.
Yeah, well, in the original Pokemon, the prime thing of the game was really like this old, like the very simple, gotta catch them all, gotta beat the Elite Four, become the very best, and catch all the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, you did fight Team Rocket and unfold their things, but mostly just because, like, you're a good kid and they're doing bad things. Yeah,
or if you aren't, or if you were me, because they were, because they were in the way of me getting all of the Pokeballs that are scattered and full of items.
That too.
But yeah.
But no, anyway. So yeah, the Sapphire and Ruby are kind of cool because they have like these different teams, and depending on who you're playing at, like which version you're playing as, you're dealing with different villains. And the reason you have the different legendaries in the different versions, which is a really cool thing, is because that's the legendary that the big evil team is unleashing, is trying to unleash.
Yep.
And so you deal with the version Pacific legendary because the version Pacific team is like spending the whole game trying to unleash them.
Right.
And that's a really cool feature. I like that.
Yeah. It was interesting because they did like this was the first time that the like evil organizations were the primary focus of the game.
Yeah,
like,
actually,
this was the one that did it.
Yeah, I think like Gold and Silver was like the first one where they made the rival like a proper like central antagonist character. Where there is a central antagonist. But yeah, it was like the this is like the Ruby and Sapphire is the first one where like you are properly dealing with a proper villain team that is the actual main thing you're dealing with. Like the Elite Four is more of a side thing of you trying to beat the Elite Four, which is like your primary kind of motivation is to eventually get there, but it becomes a secondary concern to the actions of this team throughout most of the story.
Yeah, which I like how they did that in this particular game, because they turn Wally into which is your quote unquote rival in this game. They turned him into somebody who is your buddy. Like, you feel more like his rival and somebody who assists him and learning what and getting, not being nearly as sickly and learning new stuff. And you assist him to becoming like a Pokemon master.
Yeah, like the thing is, like the Wally is interesting in that he is your quote unquote rival, but he's also the guy who, like you in the beginning of the game, this is how you catch a Pokemon tutorial is done by teaching him how to catch his first Pokemon, and most of the times you battle him, he's like got a woefully underpowered team because he's kind of like learning from you each time you fight him.
Yeah,
you're kind of like half fighting him, like half rival battling him and half teaching him about like the various things that you have learned in the process of reaching him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really nifty feature. Like you also kind of have a secondary rival in your like male/female counterpart, but like they're less of a rival battler. Like they kind of had the more traditional rival role of having the Pokemon, the starter Pokemon that's the opposite of your Pokemon. But half the time that you meet them, you're not actually battling them, you're just sort of chatting with them.
Well, she's got the, I'm helping my dad do the Pokedex thing. And they also, like, they made the rivals in this game fun. Like, they're your buddies. They're, this friendly competition, as opposed to
red and
YOLO
blue,
blues.
where
Yeah.
your rival is a jerk, or gold and silver, where your rival is literally a criminal.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that's all we've got time for today.
I think that's I've been looking at a picture of a truck for a little while now, so we're gonna stop here. But thank you guys for joining us yet again. We really do appreciate you watching the show. Any of you who actually stuck through it all the way to the end. We enjoyed this game. We enjoy playing it for you guys, and most of all, we really, really enjoy Pokemon. So I've been Duhad,
Have a nice time. I'm Morath.
and we will see you guys next time.